Hello everyone, and welcome back to hopefully the final part of the Goblin costume build. It's been a while since I've done anything on this guy, because this is the hardest part and I've left it till last. This is my head bust. So my friend Mole came over and scanned my head. He's got a little scanner attached to the laptop and 3D printed me a head bust. So I'm wearing a wig cap, so my hair is mostly mushed down. As you may be able to see, I've already marked out certain areas on the bust where my eyes are going to be visible and where my mouth's going to be visible. Also, I have a goatee. So I've just got a bit of tinfoil and I've just taped it in place on here at the moment because this prosthetic mask has a big chin, and so it's not all taken up with clay. I'm just sort of infilling bits at the moment. I've not done a full face, full mask prosthetic ever before. I'm sculpting the base out of this in monster clay. This particular clay is used mostly for sculpting busts and masks and things of that nature.
So here we go, a bit of a time jump, but this is now what I'm calling the finished look for this prosthetic. So yeah, a little bit of a time jump. Apologies for the change in voice as well. I'm currently ill whilst doing this bit, but I think I'm quite happy with this. So I just sort of refined sort of the shapes and how I want them to sit. Just sort of shrunk some of the details down so it fits my face shape a bit better, I think. Things like the chin not being super long as well. I just trying to balance that shape all on how my face looks, which I think like from the front works really, really well. There's some natural asymmetry going on here, which is also present in the original sculpt because it's supposed to be a person. It's not going to be mirrored image. So we want to capture that as well. There's some detail on the sculpt here. We've got some lines and some indentation. So this was actually achieved by using cling film, covering the sculpt with cling film, and actually used a pumice stone to get this sort of circular indentation that you see here. And just those lines done with the sculpting tools. So when I got all the basic shapes down, smoothed it all out, and I used some lighter fluid as well, just to try and smooth that clay out a bit more, but not too much so it doesn't mess up the actual sort of integrity of the monster clay, because this is an oil-based clay. You might notice it's a bit glittery because I've been doing stuff with mica powder in this workshop, and that's sort of settled on there, but that shouldn't affect when we're trying to cast it. So what I've decided to do with this piece is actually cast it out of latex. So we're going to be using liquid latex. We do have some soft foam as well, just to recreate an actual solid piece. So if anything happens to the mould, I can remold from that solid piece. Liquid latex is the easiest of things to work with. It's lightweight, it's very forgiving, it's also easier to colour, easier to paint. Stuff like silicone is going to be very, very heavy, especially considering all this sort of extra oomph we've got coming off of this piece. Foam latex might be something we look at further down the line, but some of the foam latex I've seen works better in an oven, which obviously I don't have here. Well, we've got an oven, but it's not suitable for doing foam latex stuff because that is incredibly toxic and you should not be doing that in a home oven. So we've got a couple of bits just to do to prep this up before we can mould it, which is first up, I'm just going to get a bit more clay and I'm going to put some borders like around the eyes here and around my mouth. This is just so when you're actually casting the piece, you probably have seen when people apply prosthetic pieces that they have a border around the edge when they're applying it. It's so when you're actually making the piece, you don't get like really thin edges around here, like so the edges of your piece aren't gonna be like all thin and wobbly. They're gonna be really nice and neat. At least that's my understanding of it. And then also going to Vaseline all the parts that I do not want the mould to stick to, because we're going to be moulding this out of plaster, because plaster is the only thing liquid latex will be cast in. It doesn't like silicone. Do not try it with silicone. It will not work. And as the base of this head is a 3D print, obviously we've got some grooves and stuff that things are going to want to stick to. So I'm just going to make sure all of this is Vaselined, because then that will just help our mould pop off. And I'll see Vaseline areas around here where the clay isn't as well. This is going to be a tricky mould to do, because I've not done one of this size before, and I've definitely not done one with this kind of face shape. I'm hoping I can get it all done in one go. The things that worry me are the shape and the length of the jaw, and also the ears. But the thing is, like once the plaster is on, once the plaster is dry, and I can slowly pull this out, like this clay seems kind of hard, but if I were to pull this, I would be able to pull it off and break it out. This clay is going to get ruined when you take it out. So this is kind of our one-shot thing. It's not meant to stay there. As cool as it looks, which is why I want to make a solid version as well. So we just appreciate it now, just in case I mess up, which I really hope I don't. Okay, so we've now got the barriers in the eye and the mouth, which kind of looks a bit weird, which is why I wanted to show you without it before. And I've just done a really rough clay wall around the side and the back of this, which is supported by a load of plaster of Paris bandage just on the back there. This is just so I can work with it and catch a load of dripping plaster and we're not wasting it, and it's helped give an edge to the mould as well. I'm not really 100% sure what I'm doing here, but I think this should work. I'm hoping this will work. I mean, this looks alright to me. As I said, this is the first time trying, and I do like to jump in feet first sometimes and just sort of see how it goes. I find it's a more interesting learning process. So yeah, this is just the normal monster clay I've done for these, same as this stuff. And this is actually a water-based pottery clay because it doesn't need to be reused or anything, so I can just peel that off later. I think it's going to work. I hope it's going to work. And we're going to be using this, which is Crystal Cow R High Strength Casting Plaster. I have used this before to make my smaller stuff, but apparently this is pretty good for bigger stuff as well. I've seen other makers online use a different one that you can only get in America, so this is kind of a UK equivalent. Oh, it's the closest one I could find that does the job. That's going to be able to replicate all the little detailed bits we've got in here, and also is pretty decent strength as well. But to make sure that our mould doesn't stay together in one piece, got some of this stuff cut up, which is like a Hessian fabric. It's not quite as holy as I want it to be, but so essentially we're just gonna layer it in and it's gonna dry around it, and it's like kind of paper mache, but instead of using PVA glue and newspaper, you've got plaster and fabric to make the actual mould a lot stronger. Alright, got a little plaster mix down here. This first layer, I'm just gonna brush it all on our face here and try and get in all the sort of detail parts before this starts to go off. Alright, the plaster is on. The plaster is mostly dry, I think. It's a moment of truth. We're going to try and get it off and get all the stuff out and see if we've had any success, because this is a big hulking mess of mess. Did not go as well as I thought it would, but that's okay. We live and we learn, but hopefully it's still viable enough on the inside we can cast it from. That's what we want. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross everything else that you can possibly cross. probably got a little bit of guff in there, but that's come out with minimal problems, which I'm really pleased with. I've got some air bubble issues just around the base of this ear that I can fix, but aside from that, the actual main body of the mask looks like it's come out intact. There's a couple of tiny cracks around the edge of the nose, but I think that'll be alright. So just going to clean up these edges, just clean out that little final bit in the mould, fill in those bubbles, and then we'll start casting some latex and see how it comes out. Okay, so we're just going to do a test pour in here. That'll also help just pick out any of the other little bits left in the mould. So we've got some liquid latex, and I'm also going to colour it with a bit of green acrylic and start painting in layers in there, and we're just going to see how we go. That's not too bad. At least that's got rid of all the gunk that's in them. The only thing with it is it wants to stick to itself on the inside. Okay, so what we're going to do is just paint a load in. We're going to go layer by layer, hair dry it. Don't know how many we want to do, and then I'm going to see if I've got any talc. And before I pull it out, I'll talc the inside to stop it sticking to itself. And then we'll see how well this kind of works. Alright, so pull number 2. That's about 5-6 layers of latex, and I've also gone into certain areas and packed them out using cotton wool and just soaking that in the latex, dabbing it in. So I think it's at the point where we can take it out, and I just kind of want to see how that's worked with just filling in those areas that need to be that bit thicker. I think that's come out really well. So there's just like adding that little bit of a sort of thicker structure in these grooves, as well as in the forehead here, a little bit in the nose, but considering that's going to have my nose in it, and in the tips of the ears. There's a little air bubble in there, but that's fixable. I just put a load of talc on the inside when I was taking it off, just to make sure the edges aren't going to stick to themselves, kind of like they did with the thinner one where it just sort of rolled in on itself. Right, I want to do a version for myself that I can keep as well, so I'm just going to paint in another couple of layers of latex and put some expanding soft foam behind it as well, so I've got a head now that I know that this casts well, aside from the couple little cracks in the front. So I need makeup that's gonna colour match the actual latex better, but that is a success. I've dared not actually glue it on my face just yet. This has probably got a little bit of like reuse to it, but I don't want to be like constantly gluing it and taking off and start ripping the edges. I look like some kind of strange cat under here. I will also have to colour in my ears, but just got headphones on at the moment. I just wanted to see how it looked without seeing me underneath it in a way. I also need stuff to colour my tongue and stuff to put like fake chips in my teeth as well. I'll do stuff like stick the ears, stick the nose, brow and like the mouth. But I'm really pleased with how that's come out. And even without actually like gluing it down to my face, if I hold it tight enough and talk, I've actually got sort of more movement than I thought I would. And just like, so it's just a lot of expressiveness with the eyes really. Just got to be careful of those corners here near the eyes when sort of, I'll stick up, but I think once they get glued down they'll be right. Actually I can't do that without it being glued to my face because my mouth wants to go into the chin area. Alright, I'm happy with that. We know it works. I just need better makeup and then I'll be good. Final stage is actually wig. It's a very specific shape that we need, so I'm going to have to find a wig that is long enough that I can do the style at the back but also has enough lace at the front that I can add more hair to the front to get the sort of widow's peak and the little zigzags in the sides. So I'll have to go look at that, but heck yeah, I'm pleased with that. That's good. So I'll probably do the final part. This was going to be the final part, but I've left you guys for so long without a video that I'll put this one out. So at least you got a little something. And you know, I am still trying to work on stuff here in between doing things for other people and work and whatnot. So Goblin is happening. Goblin will happen if I'm lucky. Maybe first con of the year. If not, definitely October, because I think he should be out for Halloween. That should definitely be. Is he the first or second event? The weather is awful. I've not got anywhere near as much as I wanted to get done for this Christmas break, but it is what it is. Hopefully it won't be too long until I get the next part up for you, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for sticking around whilst I've been faffing with all this. The best place to follow me if you do want to see what I'm up to is Instagram. That's also where I'll be able to post stuff that I do for the day job, if we're allowed to say what we've done, and where a lot of people will see kind of progress of what I've been doing on this before it goes up on YouTube, so that's the best place to follow me. All my links are down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna go wash this really weird makeup placement off my face. See you later. Bye guys.